Alright guys, so I just got done playing the Elden Ring Nightreign demo. I was lucky enough, even though I'm a small channel, to get a code. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts and impressions. Obviously, you can go watch all your big channels that you're used to. They might have an agenda on what they're gonna say. I have no affiliation with the company and FromSoft or anything, so you're just gonna get my honest thoughts and opinions here. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some good stuff and some bad stuff. So right away, some positives. They started early. Like the demo was supposed to start at a certain time. They actually let us in like 5 minutes early, which is huge. I never really seen a company do that. Most of the time, companies are very late. They take forever. So that was cool. And they let us finish late. I was in the middle of a battle and we actually got to go 20 minutes past the cutoff time. So kudos to FromSoft and Bandai for that. Um, Okay, so I love the blue color. I love like the theme, just like there's blue everywhere you go inside of all the menus and the logo and the writing. I love the blue tint to everything. Very, very cool and unique. The music when you're in the round table hold is incredibly soothing. It's very similar to Elden Ring, to the base game, but the music is very good. And then when you're fighting the bosses, specifically the bosses that you fight at the end of each day, it's great. So yeah, there's 3 days. It's like it's a co-op game with three people, you and two others. We'll get into the negatives in a second on why there's some issues there. But yeah, it's like a mini condensed version of Elden Ring. Right in the beginning at the round table hole, like I'm running around. I jumped off the edge because I didn't know how to start the encounter. You got to walk up to the table itself. I was exploring the whole area, and yeah, jumped off the edge. So it's a classic Elden Ring, classic FromSoft. It's like an enigma. You're trying to figure out what you need to do just to start the game, and then even when you're in the game, it's a little bit complex trying to just figure out where you need to go and what you need to do. Um, One of the things I noticed was the health bars. They're really shiny and they're updated. I like the way the health bars look. I know it's a small thing, but I take notice of these types of details. The health bars did look a little better. The one at the top. You got your magic, your stamina, and your health. Looks shiny and more high texture, high resolution. So that was cool. Um, the textures themselves and the graphics are about the exact same, which is kind of disappointing. It's one of the bad things that I have to say. The graphics pretty much haven't changed in 3 years, which is unfortunate. It's been over 3 years now, so you would think that they would have updated the engine. At least in my opinion, it looks almost identical. You could argue that some of the textures themselves are a little higher resolution, higher detail, but other than that, I didn't notice anything different, even with the animations of the characters and the enemies. Nothing was really different on that end. There are some new enemies, which is good, some enemy variety, some people we haven't seen, especially the bosses, obviously. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, okay, so some of the negatives that I have here. It's like the blue fire that chases you down. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I'm not sure if I really like it. It was kind of frustrating. I understand the point. They're trying to like funnel you into a certain place, but there's almost a part of me that wishes they would just teleport you there and you could just explore and do what you want. I'm not a huge fan of like trying to gather items and equipment or whatever and then, having to run away from the fire. Um, I don't know, could grow on me, but as of right now, I'm like in between with it. It's not really doing too much for me. Um, okay, they need to add auto sprint. So like when you're running around, you have to always hold sprint. And the way this game is paced is so much faster than normal base Elden Ring or even Shadow of the Erdtree that they gotta add an auto sprint or at least a sprint where you like tap it and then your character keeps going instead of having to hold to sprint. That's not a setting that I saw anyway. I'm playing on Xbox. So yeah, the structure is like it's 3 days. You run around for like 15 minutes, killing enemies, killing mini bosses. You level up really quickly. You go to your sites of grace, obviously. You level up quick. Your health bar and everything grows pretty quick as you level up. You gather. There's no gear. There's no gear at all. Like no helmet, no armor, no nothing. But you just get weapons. You get weapons and items, like consumable items, throwing pots, fire pots, throwing knives, things like that. And yeah, you gather those things up, and then the fire comes in, the blue fire, it makes the map smaller and smaller, and it funnels you to a specific area, and then you fight a boss there, right? And then you defeat the boss. Day 2 starts, you do the same thing over again, and rinse and repeat. I made it to day 3 one time at the very end, but it was past the cutoff time, right? And we were 20 minutes past the cutoff, so we were fighting the last boss, this like fire wolf. We were definitely gonna die anyway, but yeah, then it kicked all 3 of us out of the server. But I liked it that they let us stay 20 minutes past the cutoff. They could have just kicked us out right away, but they let us play for 20 more minutes, so I really appreciated that. So yeah, the auto sprint. And then literally one of my biggest pet peeves is that there's no way to communicate. Okay, you cannot talk to anybody. At least I couldn't. There was no like in-game chat or anything on Xbox, so I'm here with my headphones on, with my mic. I'm trying to talk to people. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? You want to go over there? Let's go this way. Oh, let's do this. You can't communicate with anyone. I'm sending people invites, to my party. Nobody's joining. Nobody wants to talk. So that was a big detriment because I don't have friends to play with, unfortunately. And I feel like some people out there will be in the same situation. You want to be able to communicate, especially in a co-op game like this. You want to be able to talk to people, and nobody was engaging in conversation at all. So it's a co-op game with 3 people, and the lack of communication, it's okay in the base game of Elden Ring. I cannot stress that enough, even though it's better to talk, obviously. But it was okay because there's a storyline. You're just kind of helping each other out. You're not dependent on each other 110%, only for a certain encounter. This whole game is about cooperative play. So, FromSoft, if you're listening to this small channel, please, you guys got to add the auto sprint or the click to sprint, right, instead of holding it. And you got to add a toggle at least. I want to search for matchmaking exclusively with people who have mics who want to talk. If people don't want to talk, that's fine. Give them their own little setting, a little toggle bar, right? I personally want to communicate. I want to talk with my teammates and hopefully build friendships and then play together online, Because as of right now, it's very lifeless. You're just running around. You can't interact with people at all. Yeah, you can do your little emotes, but the world is moving. Everything is moving so quickly and the fire's coming in. Doing the emotes it's not as efficient and as fun as base Elden Ring, doing that kind of stuff, because you're racing against the clock, you know what I mean? In base Elden Ring, there's no clock, so you can just kind of take it easy. So that seems like the structure. It's 3 days, and then you fight the boss at the end of each day. And like I said, I got to the 3rd day. It was weird. I don't even know if it was a 3rd day. It was just like we beat the 2nd boss and we went straight into the 3rd boss. So I don't know if something glitched there, if we're supposed to have a whole 3rd day of fighting and preparing, but we beat the 2nd boss and right away went to the 3rd, so that was interesting. Yeah, so they got to add, the communication, things like that. And then the other biggest pet peeve I have, the last thing is like, I don't know, at least for me, what the staying power of this game is currently, because I'm not into games where you reset every single round and you start from 0. That gets boring to me pretty quick. I need some kind of carryover as far as, I don't know if it's weapons, armor, abilities, and they do seem to have a little bit of that there. But I don't know if it's enough for me as of right now. Granted, I've only played a few hours, so hopefully there's going to be more stuff for me to unlock, and it's going to give me more incentive. But as of right now, the things you unlock are very small. It's like, oh, you equip this little thing, you can bring in 3 little, you can call them talismans, or 3 little, passive buffs into the next round. And it's like, okay, plus 10 health here, a little bit more attack here. I don't know if that's enough to feel progression for me, I did find that one time when I dropped in with my buddies, it dropped me in a place where it's like equip your old gear or pick up your belongings, something like that. And I got to pick up the stuff that I was using from my previous character in my previous round. So that was pretty cool. But like I said, I don't know if there's enough here currently. Based on these couple hours, right? These are just first impressions. All of this could change. I'm going to play again tonight when the 2nd round comes around. But yeah, based on what I've played so far, I don't know if there's enough staying power for me to be fully engaged and want to keep going and keep grinding at this over and over when it's like, you know, what do I get out of it? At least in Elden Ring, you're progressing the story. Shadow of the Erdtree, you're progressing a storyline, you're progressing gameplay, character, level, upgrades, new magic, new abilities. Whereas this, it's like you upgrade those things and then they all get reset. They go back to level 1 every time you die, every time you start a new round. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Don't know if it's the right thing for me personally. Some people might love it, just that it's like essentially infinite replayability. Very cool. I think this type of game would work much better if it was more condensed. Like if the map was smaller, I hate to say it, if the map was smaller, if you were more inside, there were more inside areas, or even if you're outside, more linear type paths, I think it would be better. Because as of right now, you just spawn in and you can stay together, you run in all different directions, and then if you go, yeah, like I remember we went right to our right when we spawned in, like to the right of us, there was a tree sentinel mini guy, and he had this magic. He was silver. His whole armor was silver, and he had magic. He destroyed us. All three of us absolutely obliterated us over and over and over again. We wasted like our whole day there, our first day. So yeah, I guess you can just go in a different direction. But then it's just a lot of empty space and a lot of running, before you find enemies. And when you do, it's only a couple enemies, and then you're just running again. I don't know, man. I would prefer it probably to be smaller and just have more enemies in a more condensed area with more verticality and just jumping around and traversal. I found that when we got into caves, I had a lot more fun. When me and my buddies are so close together, enemies are right there, you're really working as a team. That was the most fun part for me. When we went into buildings, like the little mini dungeons, the little legacy dungeons that they have. Otherwise, it's just like a mini condensed version of Elden Ring. I do think there is something special here. Make no mistake, I do think there is something here. There is something that can be, tweaked and changed to make this really good. I'm just not sure, just based on the first 3 hours that I played, what those things are, right? What do they need to change to make it this epic special thing? Based on what I've seen, I've given you guys my feedback. So, yeah, the world is really big, obviously, and I think it's too big. So that's it. Those are my first impressions, you guys, as of right now. Let me know what you think. Have you played it? If not, are you excited? Personally, bottom line for me, guys, I've always wanted Elden Ring co-op experience. And that's what I really thought this was going to be based on the first trailer. They showed multiple people playing, and I literally lost my mind. My reactions on my channel. It's like, oh my God, I thought this was like an Elden Ring DLC or an Elden Ring 2, where it's just co-op. You get to play through the story together, upgrade your characters together and stuff like that. And that's not really what this looks like and what it seems, unfortunately. All I've ever really wanted in life is like a co-op Zelda, like a single player game that you can play with a friend, start to finish. Not like the way Elden Ring is with a password and you can't ride your horse and you can only follow your co-op buddy over here and then they disappear. No, I'm not about that. I want to be able to play from the very beginning of the game to the very end of the game, cooperative with a friend, family member, significant other, what have you, even stranger online. I want to be able to play these games cooperatively. So that's what I was hoping. It's not what we're getting, but hopefully there is something here. I hope there is something here that they can expand on and tweak and make this something really good. But as of right now, is the replayability there? I don't know. I need something to keep progressing, keep my character getting stronger and cooler and more badass as time goes on. Otherwise, I'm just rinsing and repeating over and over and over again, and I don't know. I've already played like 500 plus hours in Elden Ring. I don't know if what's here is enough to keep me hooked personally. I've had that experience. It was amazing. Shadow of the Erdtree, Elden Ring base game. Phenomenal. Do I want to do a mini condensed version over and over again, repeating it without much upgrades? As of right now, I don't think so. All right, that's it. Take care, guys.